Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Clara Rose. I, of course, am Clara Rose. If you have not been with us before, each week I talk about things that help you to be more savvy, usually. Sometimes I talk about your book and how important that is, and other times we have interviews. Today, of course, we're going to talk about something that is sort of my wheelhouse, and that's being savvy. Savvy specifically as a leader. If you've been with us before, I just want to say welcome back, my friend. Let's dive into talking about being a savvy leader. So, what does savvy really mean? So, I use that word a lot, but you may not have a good understanding of what savvy really is. I think it's the Oxford Dictionary that says that it's a shrewdness. Being savvy is a shrewdness with practical knowledge and the ability to make good judgment calls. I love that. That's what we want to be in business, in life. We want to be savvy, but specifically being savvy as a leader has a lot of benefits to our business or our career. Now, often I'm talking to entrepreneurs, but that does not mean that you couldn't be a leader somewhere else, right? You could be a leader in someone else's corporation. It doesn't have to be your own corporation. Maybe you're a leader. We'll talk about being a leader, but being a savvy leader, that's the topic of today. So, specifically, the mindset of a savvy leader. So, let's talk about what that means, the mindset of a leader. Mindset of a leader. A leader thinks differently. You might not realize that a leader has to consider more than just themselves and how it impacts them. They have to think about the organization. They have to think about the staff. They have to think about the customers. That is all part of the equation, and mindset really matters when you're thinking about being a leader, when you're thinking about leadership. So, here is, of course, a savvy tip for you. Mindset is ever changing. So, decide to take your thoughts captive. If you're new to the idea of taking your thoughts captive, you might think, well, that sounds odd. What are you talking about? I'm just talking about being aware of what you think and how you think, and being the one that's in control. Most commonly, people will not realize that their mind is spinning out of control until they've gone down a rabbit hole. Sometimes I will do it when I'm upset about something. If somebody, cuts me off, or somebody does something that I feel like was unfair, because I have a strong fair meter in me. Some of us do. And I think, oh, that wasn't fair. That person did whatever. And then I ruminate about it, right? Ooh, I should have said this, or I should have done that, or right? It just spins in my head. I ruminate about it. So that is not me taking my thoughts captive. That is my thoughts taking me captive. They're clearly the ones that are in control when I'm ruminating and fussing and fuming. If I'm, up at 3 a.m. because something has happened and my brain is like doing this little spinny thing, that is my thoughts controlling me and not me controlling my thoughts. Mindset of a leader is about deciding you are going to be the one in control of your thoughts. And there are so many wonderful books out there that you can read that are specifically about a mindset for a leader. I highly encourage you to find, you just do a quick Google search and you can find some really great books out there. As a matter of fact, I have a previous client, The Heartbeat of a Real Leader. The REAL is an acronym, and really great book about leadership. I highly recommend it. There are a ton of them out there. If you're interested in a list of them, just hop on over to your email and say, hey, Clara, send me your list of favorite leadership or mindset books, and I will be happy to do that. My email, of course, is hello@clararose.com. Happy to send you the list. There's a ton of them. And of course, my list is ever changing and growing because mindset is so important in so many different areas of life, but leadership specifically, I think it's super important. All right, let's move on. Lead from the front. So I can't tell you how important this is. People are that you're leading, they're watching you, right? Leaders provide direction, they set the pace in an organization, whether it's your organization or you're a leader in someone else's organization. It's really important to be a great leader by setting the pace. You're the one that says, here's where we're going, this is the direction, and you lead from the front. You lead, and others will follow you. Don't expect your followers to do things that you yourself are not willing to do. Lead by example. Now, we all grew up with that, right? Being told, to set a good example for your, I had younger brother and sister, so set a good example for your younger brother and sister. And perhaps that's where I first started learning leadership skills. I'm not sure, but it's been a part of my entire career as I led either employees or authors that I'm leading through the process of creating their first book or their second book or their fifth book, whatever it is. So leadership has become kind of a way of life for me. And I encourage you to embrace that piece of it. Step out and be a leader. I often say this, and I think I made it up, but I may have read it somewhere. I don't know. Speak up, show up, speak up, and make a difference in the world around you. We all can make a difference in the world around us if we will simply lead. And we lead from the front by example. And then, of course, I have a savvy tip for you because I always do. It's not just what you say that matters, they are watching you. It's also true when you have children. And my children are grown, and now it's my grandchildren who are watching me. And it's super fun to see them reach that point in life when they start behaving in ways that you have patterned for them. Pretty soon you see them leading others. It's been one of the great joys of my life as a grandmother. Yes, I have 10 of them, 10 grandchildren, and just learned that I have my very first great grandbaby coming after the first of the year. I'm super excited about that. I don't really feel old enough to have a grandbaby coming, but I look forward to being a part of his life and teaching him to lead from the front, to be a good leader, to be a good human, make a difference in the world around him. Okay, that was just a little sidebar. Thanks for letting me go down that road. Okay, let's talk about casting a vision. Leaders are ones in the organization that cast a vision for the goals and aspirations of the organization. They're the ones that like set the pace, say, here's where we're headed. This is what we're going to do. This is what we aspire to. And this is not just a vague idea, but it's a super clear vision about who they serve and how they serve them. Because vision really does matter. Vision makes a difference. If you have not spent the time in your organization, whether it's your organization or you're leading a team somewhere, if you haven't spent the time to create a vision for your people, I highly encourage it. Take them away for the afternoon. We just got back with my husband's company. We own three companies actually, but our primary company, he said, let's take them on a cruise. Let's do some team building on a cruise. So we did a short cruise with them for team building purposes. And we did that so that we could, one, it's fun. We got to get away, spend some time with them. They invited their spouses along. So we got to get to know them as people a little bit, but also talk about the vision of our company. Where are we headed? What is it that we'd like to accomplish? Of course, part of our vision is building a legacy. We want to build a legacy for our future generations of our own family, but for those who work for us as well and their futures. Because if we do well, our employees can do well, right? And that's all they're a part of the process. So we spent a couple of days just casting a vision for them, saying, here's our vision. This is where we're headed. This is what we'd like to see happen. We invite you to come along with us. And of course, my savvy tip on this is get to know your people. As they learn to trust you, they will follow you. Now, that was 100% the reason for the cruise. Get to know our people, not just our staff, but our spouses to the staff, because those people have huge influence in our employees' lives, of course, as your spouse does in your life, right? Your partner in life has a lot of influence in the decisions that you make, including around employment. So getting to know those people, making them a part of the family, if you will, is super important as they all begin to trust us and buy into the vision that we've cast for our organization. Then they're going to be better employees. They're going to trust us, and hopefully they're going to follow us wherever we lead. So I invite you, I encourage you, if you have your own staff, to do this. It doesn't have to be a cruise and it doesn't have to be expensive. We'd like to do something quarterly, even if it's a come over to the house and have a barbecue and play in the pool, right? It's team building stuff. And you might not realize this, but as a business owner, we get to write that off. So once a quarter, we have a business meeting that includes food at our house. Usually it's at our house because we have a pool, and we get to write all that off. We're having barbecued ribs and writing it off, right? Because as an organization, as a company, we can do that. But it really isn't about the write off as much as about spending that time with our staff and getting to know them on a deeper level. Okay, heart and mind. I want to talk about just briefly about the heart and mind of a leader. Leaders who care about their people, they inspire creativity and loyalty and contentment. And those things, it doesn't sound like it, but it really affects your bottom line when you lead with your heart and your mind. I say and your mind because we still have to be sensible, right? We still have to do business in a savvy way, right? Shrewd, with practical knowledge and ability to make good judgments. We're still making good choices when we're heart and mind leaders, but we're also leading with our heart. The people matter. They matter to us because it matters to our bottom line. They matter to us because they've become like family, which happens in small organizations of, like, we're less than 10 employees usually. So we're smaller, but even in larger organizations that have teams of people that work together closely, you become tight knit like family, right? And those leaders that can learn to step into leading with your heart and mind can really make a difference in the lives of the people around them. You have the ability as a leader to make those who follow you make their life pleasant or unpleasant. You can make them feel good about themselves, or you can make them feel poorly about themselves. You can speak life into them, or you can speak death into them. Now, that sounds really harsh, doesn't it? Speak death into them. But I promise you, you can physically see a difference in people when you treat them well and you encourage them and you uplift them, you speak life into them, versus when you tear people down or you take advantage of people or you make people feel unappreciated. Nobody wants to be in that position. We work really hard in our organizations to create a culture of caring, a culture of caring leadership, so that if somebody has an issue, they can come to us. They know that they can, knock on our office door and say, "Hey, can we have a conversation? This is how I'm feeling." Now, we're not an overly woke organization, and but we do feel like it's super important that people at least have a voice. They say, "You know what, Clara, I think we could do this better, faster, more efficiently. What if we did X?" And I want my employees to come to me with those kinds of ideas, right? That creativity is gold. That's business gold, right? When you get your employees feeling like they matter, their voice matters, that they're actually a part of the team, part of the organization, they will be more engaged. They will be more loyal. Those are the people that are content with their job. And my goal, 100%, is to have the people that work in our organizations say, "I love what I do." And if you don't love what you do, let's make some adjustments. What can we change so that you do love what you do, right? That's part of being a good leader. And all of this comes from having a mindset for leadership, right? Your mindset really does matter. I don't want to forget to give you my savvy tip on that last heart and mind. Influential leaders inspire us all. Be the type of leader you want to follow. I guess that goes back to when you're a kid and your mom or your dad or whoever says, do unto others as you have them do unto you. It's the same thing. Nobody wants to feel like less than or feel like they don't matter or their voice doesn't matter, right? We all want to feel like we're contributing and we're a part of something. So that's just a kind of a little bit of an overview of my thoughts on the mindset of a savvy leader, somebody who takes just these little steps, right? Works on their mindset. Always be working on your mindset. We all can be learning something new all the time. There's a huge statistic which I wish that I would have looked it up because now I can't remember what it is, but the top Fortune 500, the top leaders, the top CEOs in the world read a staggering number of books, like a book a week or a book a month. So ask yourself this question: when was the last time that I actually read a book? And if you're an avid reader, I think that's awesome. Some of you are, fiction readers. That's awesome. But I'm talking about personal or professional development. There's just a correlation between how much you read and your net worth, how much you read and your success in business. So I'm just here to say mindset does matter. And there's lots of great stuff out there about mindset for leaders. I encourage you to grab a book on it. And then, of course, lead from the front, right? Super important that you're saying, come on, guys, let's go this way. And that you're being a leader that isn't afraid to step out and then invite the people that follow to follow behind them. Casting a vision. Super important that your people know where you're headed and why. Sometimes companies will do like mission statements. And I think if your company doesn't have one, there's huge value in creating a mission statement. It's really saying, this is why we exist. Right? So if you haven't spent the time figuring that out as your own organization, it is well worth sitting down for a few hours with your business partner or your spouse or your team and say, what is it that we do? Who is it that we serve? Why are we here? And how can we do that in a way that changes the world around us for the better? I don't mean for that to sound foofy and fluffy and, woo-wooey at all. I'm just saying that we can all make a difference. Make a difference in your organization or your team in a mindful way. Cast your vision. And then heart and mind leadership. That's probably my biggest soapbox, right? Have a heart for the people that work for you. It will make a difference in your organization, how you function, but I promise you will also make a difference in your bottom line. Happy people take better care of clients. Happy clients give you money, right? We're all in the business. Whatever it is you do, every organization is in the business to make money. Unless you're a nonprofit, which you still have to make money in a nonprofit in order to stay in business. So the bottom line really does matter. And having a mindset of savvy leadership is going to make a difference in your bottom line, I promise you. Okay, I want to talk about something just briefly before I completely ran out of time that you might not have considered, or maybe you have considered and it scares you a little bit. Are you a hesitant leader because it's scary? Leadership isn't supposed to be scary. It's leaders are people just like you, right? Leaders have families, they have hopes, and they have dreams for their lives. My advice is kindness matters. Be kind. Sometimes when you put yourself out there as a leader, or you become an influencer, there are unkind people out there saying horrible things, especially on social media. I think we've reached an age where on social media, people feel like they have the right to say whatever they would like to say. Sometimes we call them trolls or other things that I won't say on film. But sometimes people are just ugly, right? Um, I don't know why they feel like they're entitled to give you their opinion, but sometimes it's horrible. I've had people say like just ridiculously horrible, ugly, mean things that aren't true at all. right? I'm not out to scam the world, and most other influencers aren't out there to scam the world either, right? We're all trying to make a difference, doing what it is we do, and the haters are going to hate. So I want to encourage you to be kind to others that you follow, and then realize that kindness does matter, but people are not always going to be kind to you. And that's okay, especially if they're on the other side of a screen, right? They're on Facebook or wherever they're commenting. Just ignore them. Know that haters are going to hate. Most people are going to be appreciative. Most clients are going to be wonderful. And you're going to make a difference in their world in whatever it is that you do. Okay, I hope that you found some value in that. Of course, before I go, I do want to talk about our new membership that just rolled out. Of course, you can always work with us over at clararose.com. If you're interested in having someone ghostwrite a book for you or co-write a book with you, that is our done for you, done with you services. But I want to talk about the Savvy Author membership, because membership is the way to go if you want to work with another group of people who are headed in the same direction as you. So let me talk about why the Savvy Author membership works. It offers you professional guidance. We use a proprietary process that gets that stuff out of your head and onto paper. So the brainstorm and blueprint helps you to create the right book. It helps you to capture your ideas. Then we outline the structure of your book, and then where we spend the most of our time together is getting the writing done, right? Doesn't do you any good to have an outline and not do the writing. So get your writing done. And then, of course, we need to edit your manuscript. And the Savvy Author membership has a whole section on how to do some self editing, easy self editing tips, things to look out for. Can't use the word that in every sentence, things of that nature. Then we're going to talk about formatting, what a well formatted book looks like, understanding the publishing industry, and then, of course, what kinds of options you have for publishing, whether you want to self publish or you'd like to hybrid publish with a company like ours, our Rosedale Pressmark. Or of course, you can self-publish. There are lots of great tools out there to self-publish, but we don't want you to just run out into the world and try to self-publish without some guidance. There are some things that you need to know to protect yourself when you're using self-publishing tools. And then, of course, the most important one that for me is those people who are interested in self-publishing. I want them to know the pitfalls, because once it's out in the world, it's out in the world. Once it's in print, print lasts forever. People buy books and they put them on the shelf. So we want to make sure that we're putting out something that reflects us well, whether it's our business or us personally, that it reflects who we are, and that it's clean and it's well written and there's not a bunch of mistakes in it, that it's well formatted, that it represents you and your business like you'd like it to for all time. And then, of course, launching your book, which is always the most difficult part. Yes, we spend a lot of time getting your book ready, but getting your book launched really comes down to having a strategy in place to get your book out into the world. So I have just a couple minutes. So I just want to say the 3 phases of book creation, which I talk about sometimes on this show: the brainstorm and blueprint, phase 1, the create and correct, phase 2, and then the promote and publish, which is the 3rd phase. All of those pieces really do matter. Everything matters when you're publishing a book, when you're creating and publishing a book. And so I would love to be the one to help you on this journey from idea to publish and out into the world. And then, of course, we want to make sure that you're creating a book that is the tool that you want it to be, because that's what a book is. It's just a tool to help us expand our influence, or leave a legacy, or maybe organically generate leads for a business, ministry, cause, or brand. Whatever the tool needs to do, we want to help you create the right tool for the job. If you're interested, you can hop on over to clararose.com and have a look at the program. It is a monthly membership. You can just click the link, sign on up, and I will see you inside the membership. We do meet weekly for ongoing education. And there's lots of good stuff in there that you can spend time on your own, or we can do together as a group if you're more comfortable. So everything you need to know to launch your book is right in there. And then, of course, if you really would just like to have a conversation first, you can go over to clararose.com, click on the connect with me, and it will let you hop on my Zoom schedule, and we can have a conversation about the best option for you to get your book out there. If you truly would prefer to have a ghostwritten book, we offer that service. If you would like to co-write it together, which means you do the writing, but we do the rest, we offer that option as well. So, whatever a good fit for you is, we consider ourselves author centric. That just means whatever works for you is what we want for you. We want you to put your book out to the world in a way that is as easy for you as possible. And of course, that you get a great book out of it. Okay, I truly am running out of time, but I want to just take 1 minute to say thank you so much for showing up every week to support me. And I encourage you to leave comments. If you have something specific that I haven't covered, I've been at this for 3 or 4 years, so dig through my past stuff and see if I've answered your question. But if not, you can drop me an email at hello@clararose.com and just say, hey, Clara, I'm wondering about this, or I'm wondering about that. Can you cover that topic? And I am happy to do so. Anything in the leadership development world, anything in the publishing world, all those things, I'm happy to answer those questions for you. Okay. Thank you so much for being here once again. Next week, I am hoping to have a guest. And if you would like to be a guest on the show, specifically if you've written a book, I'd love to talk with you about being on the show. Please drop me an email at hello@clararose.com and tell me what it is that you do and what we could talk about on the show. And I'd love to have a conversation with you about that. Okay, I am truly out of time this time. So I will see you next week, same time, same place. Take care.